I'm delighted to be here today at the Innovation Africa Summit. Yesterday was World Teachers' Day, a day where across the world we recognized and celebrated the important role that our teachers play in providing quality education at all levels. Teachers are traditionally and importantly the primary facilitators of learning. And this is no different in a world where we are beginning to place greater reliance on systems and technologies to support the development of our education system and the learning of our children. Without the support of our teachers, the introduction of new systems and new technologies into our schools would have little chance of succeeding. If our education system is to support our social and economic development, we need to work better and smarter to ensure that our learners leave the education system with relevant knowledge and skills and a better place to pursue higher education opportunities and participate meaningfully in any working environment. John Dewey, an American philosopher and educational reformer, once said that if we teach today as we taught yesterday, we rob our children of tomorrow. It is no secret there are many challenges facing the world's education systems, particularly in developing countries like South Africa, where we face the great challenge of expanding access and improving quality for all learners. The extent to which learners have access to a quality basic education is a driving factor in determining a country's competitiveness and, in turn, a country's growth potential. According to the latest World Economic Forum Global Competitiveness Report, South Africa achieved an overall competitive ranking of 52 out of 144 countries. While this ranking places South Africa as the highest ranked country in sub-Saharan Africa, the report highlights the urgent need for South Africa and other countries on the African continent to increase the number of educated people who are able to participate and contribute to the economy. For example, the quality of South Africa's basic education system ranks 132 out of 144 countries, with the quality of its higher education and training system ranking 140 out of 144 countries. South Africa also ranked 143 out of 144 countries in the quality of its maths and science education, key subjects in any growing economy. This is simply not an acceptable or sustainable situation. In a world where information and communications technology, or ICT, has made it possible for more people to access, generate, and share ideas, and in a world where ICT is playing a greater role in the way that we do business than before, we urgently need to consider how our basic education system can maximize these new possibilities. Today, I'd like to share with you some of the strategies that the Western Cape government has developed to integrate ICT into the provincial schooling system. In the Western Cape, the provincial government has made a commitment in 2009 to firstly improve the literacy and numeracy levels of learners throughout the system. Secondly, to increase the number of learners who complete their schooling and the number of learners who leave school with the option of pursuing higher education and training opportunities. And thirdly, to reduce the number of underperforming high schools in the province. We are pleased to be seeing a positive trend in the performance of our public ordinary schools, particularly in the results achieved over the last 2 years in the National Senior Certificate Examinations, which are written by our learners in their final year of school. However, we still face many challenges, which include expanding access to quality ICT teaching and learning resources to all schools in this province, particularly those serving our poorer communities. We therefore recognize that if we are to progress as an education system, we need to decide not if, but how we will use ICT in its various forms to support and improve the provision of a quality education at all of our schools. The Western Cape Government has therefore taken the lead in prioritizing the delivery and rollout of ICT infrastructure to strengthen and support quality teaching and learning in our schools. In preparing learners for the future, the Western Cape Education Department has developed an e-education vision that will see the expansion of our existing technology base and digital resources and the introduction of appropriate solutions that are responsive to changing education needs. The department envisions significant adaptations to the way in which teaching and learning is currently conceptualized. This involves a shift from traditional methods of teaching and learning in conventional education environments, where appropriate to e-teaching, e-learning, and virtual learning environments where digital resources and systems are more readily available to schools and the engagement between educators and learners is more enhanced than before. We believe that e-education is primarily about learning and teaching, and it is the E in the e-education that supplements and enhances teaching and learning experiences in the most important space, in the classroom. The E in e-education is therefore not a substitute for our teachers, but it is rather a resource intended to aid our teachers in the very important and critical work that they do. In 2007, Bill Gates made this important point about technology in our schools. He said, "It is important to be humble when we talk about education, because TV was going to change education and videotape was going to change it, and computer-aided instruction was going to change it. But until the internet exploded 10 years ago, technology really hadn't made a dent in education at all. Learning is mostly about creating a context for motivation. It's about why you should learn things. Technology plays a role, but it is not a panacea." The department's e-education vision in the Western Cape recognizes that there are a number of technology trends that challenge the conventional curriculum delivery models that we've become accustomed to in the provisioning of education. From mobile learning, cloud computing, one-to-one computing, and teacher managers, to redefining learning spaces and smart portfolio assessments, the Western Cape Education Department is alive to these trends and will do what is necessary and possible to align its curriculum delivery models accordingly to improve education outcomes. The Western Cape Government's vision for ICT in education is therefore one that will see teachers and education managers who are empowered to use technology effectively and innovatively. learners who are empowered to use technology effectively and innovatively, models, methodologies, pedagogies, and digital content that are responsive to the education needs of our learners, robust and reliable ICT systems that support e-education, technology-enriched environment that enable effective learner-centered e-learning, and robust and reliable ICT systems that will reduce the administrative burden that is often associated with planning and management. The new era of e-education in the Western Cape is a natural progression from the ICT solutions that have been introduced by the Western Cape Education Department over the last 10 years. We are currently supporting an e-education through a number of channels, including the provisioning of technology to new schools and the upgrading or advancement of technology in existing schools, researching and evaluating the use of e-education methodologies and cutting-edge technology, training in ICT for educators, the sourcing, procurement, and provisioning of digital resources through multiple access points, and ongoing support of e-education at our schools. Earlier this year, the Premier of the Western Cape, Helen Zille, made an exciting announcement in her State of the Province address regarding the establishment of a special purpose vehicle or public-private partnership to bring broadband access to schools, as well as to provincial and municipal government facilities in the Western Cape over the next 2.5 years. Our target in education is to have all of our schools connected by the end of 2014. It is our view that high-speed broadband connectivity is the foundation on which ICT can be integrated into our schools, making equitable access to the information highway possible for all users, regardless of location. High-speed broadband connectivity will enable the department to improve the quality of education in this province through the provisioning of high-quality curriculum material and teaching aids, improved communication, and remote technical support. The department has developed an e-education platform in the form of a curriculum website and a learning management system. The platform currently houses a repository of educational digital resources and provides facilities for teachers, learners, and departmental officials to communicate and collaborate with each other in support of teaching and learning. Western Cape Education Department's e-education platform is currently being supported by the curriculum directorates at the department's head office, the curriculum advisors, and e-education personnel in the districts, along with educational partners. To date, we are able to use this platform to access over 400 free digital learning objects, a collection of free software for education purposes, and a collection of apps for tablets which can be obtained in formats such as documents, videos, animations, and simulations. As part of efforts to integrate ICT into our schools, we plan to provide schools with appropriate new technologies in innovative and appropriate configurations and architectures. This will include Wi-Fi technology in all schools to expand access to the broadband network. For schools offering IT-orientated subjects, we plan to refresh their computer laboratories so that they may deliver a better quality curriculum than before. We also plan to convert existing computer labs into multimedia learning hubs and upgrade classrooms to include appropriate classroom-based technology, including mobile and handheld devices. We're currently investigating the possible use of handheld tablets or devices at schools with various role players. Some of our schools have already introduced these tablets into the classroom and are piloting research projects within their schools in partnership with the private sector. We are also in the final stages of procuring over 1,520 tablets for all of our principals, which will improve the way in which we communicate and provide support to all of our principals. The Western Cape Government values the work that our principals do to improve education outcomes in the province, and it is our hope that the provision of these tablets will help them work smarter. The mere existence of computer laboratories, high-speed internet access, and electronic resources in the classroom should not be envisaged as an end in itself, but rather the beginning of another process. We need to ask ourselves whether there is a link between the use of ICT in schools and learner achievement. And if so, how can we maximize this link? Studies show that at best, where you see more ICT use in schools, you tend to see a mildly positive correlation in test scores. The more directed, the better is the correlation. What these studies also show is that there are clear indications that the real difficulty in linking ICT use in schools to learner outcomes is our failure to incorporate ICT into a whole school strategy. In this sense, the failure comes when ICT is used as a stepladder to reach the blackboard. It is therefore important that we have teachers that are supportive of and who further our efforts to introduce e-education into their classrooms. To this end, we need teachers who are trained and who have the skills to integrate technology meaningfully into their lessons. It is also important that we update teacher training curriculum regularly to ensure that it reflects the latest developments in ICT-based technology. To ensure that we keep up with international developments in e-education and are able to maximize the benefits of e-education in the classroom, we will conduct research into e-education methodologies and how these can be used to improve education outcomes. We will also ensure that the integration of ICT into our schools is carefully managed and customized to the needs of each school. My presence here today, along with senior e-learning officials of the Western Cape Education Department, both Osman Sadek and Anisa Badsha, is an indication that we take the integration of ICT in education seriously. In order to achieve our goals in e-education, we also need the support of the private sector. Progress can only be realized as the product of partnerships between government, citizens, civil society, and business. Each has a role and specific responsibilities. That is why the Western Cape government has adopted the slogan, "Better Together," to capture and convey its message to the people of the Western Cape. Partnerships are central to the fulfillment of the Western Cape government's mandate. When we assumed office in 2009, the Western Cape government decided that responsibility would be one of the new government's key themes. From accepting its own responsibilities as a government to emphasizing the responsibilities of individuals and communities as well. Each organization represented here today can become an active citizen in the growth and development of e-education in our province. As a government, we are open to discussing and exploring the ways in which partnerships can be forged to improve access to quality education. We welcome any ideas that you may have in this regard and look forward to the possibility of working with you to accelerate the rollout of e-education to our schools. Investing in education is the best investment one can make in this country, and contributions from the private sector and civil society to the improvement of education outcomes are invaluable, not only to us as government, but most importantly, to the learners themselves and our future. I thank you.